again. You know, I was debating whether or not I was actually going to make a video today because I know I update a lot. But I just love editing and stuff, but that's not the reason. I'm all frazzled. You know why? Because my parents are at a work party right now for my dad. And that's all great and fun, and they can have fun and all that stuff without me. I'm not pathetically lonely. So they gave me money to go out and get Chinese. Well, I wanted Chinese food, so that's what I decided on. But they didn't necessarily. They weren't like, here, you Chinese. Okay, that didn't make any sense. Okay, so they left me money, and so I'm like, okay, I'll just. And so I'm flustered today because. Okay, so I called in an order to pick up, carry out or whatever, and because it's just down the street, like it's just seriously like a couple streets over, and yeah, I had to, it's not a busy street, whatever, I don't really care, and I'm like, okay, it'll take me 5 minutes to get there, and they're like, it'll be ready in 15 minutes, so I waited a little bit, and then I got in my car, and actually it's my dad's car, because my car is dead, unfortunately, the Peacemobile, it's dead. And yeah, so I got in my dad's car, and I'm not all too familiar with it. I mean, I drove it last summer, but it's been a while since I've driven it, whatever. But that isn't the point of the story. The point of the story is I was a very apt driver. I was paying attention, and it's like it's rainy and gross outside, and it's freezing, so like the rain is frozen on the roads, and it's dark. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like super, super careful. And so like I was being, I drove like on the streets that the place is on, like it's a speed trap. So you're supposed to, like, I usually go like 30 and the 35 anyway, but I was going like 25 because it was raining and I was scared and I didn't want to, it was dark and everything. And so first I'm like driving down this road, and then this guy is like coming to turn, I guess, into my lane from this other street, and he was driving in this big truck, and he's all like, oh, I'm a truck, and like I'm like, oh, I'm a little car, because my dad's car isn't my SUV, so I'm like, okay, well, if I get in an accident, there's actually a chance that I'm going to get hurt in this situation, unlike in my Peacemobile, which is just like, like Bella's truck, like it's completely indestructible. And so like he goes, he's like, his his nose is sticking in the middle of the street. You can't see it when I gesture down here. And so I'm coming like this, and then like he starts to go, and I'm like, dude, I'm coming! And he's all like, then he looks in my way, and he's like, oh shit. But then he didn't really, he's just like, oh, whatever, so he just stays there. And so I'm like, meow. And I'm like, I'm so gonna get pulled over for that, because you can't change lanes without a cop pulling you over and busting your balls. And so I'm just like, oh, fuck. So, like, I'm like, whatever. I recover from it. I'm very sensitive when I drive, because I'm, like, pretty afraid of cars. I don't like cars. I don't like car accidents. Well, who does like car accidents, really? But I don't like cars, and I hate driving, and it's, bah! And so I'm driving, and then the guy in the truck comes, actually, it was a Trailblazer, yeah. He comes and, like, comes in front of me, so we're driving, and then we get to the plaza that I'm going to turn into to get my Chinese food, and then so he is going, and here's the entrance. Here's me back here, way back here, because I'm being cautious, and then here comes this other little red car. This red car goes to switch lanes, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to coast now, because this guy's going fast. And then all of a sudden, without turning on his blinker, because that's a characteristic of this town, he goes, meow, and like goes into the plaza, and so that person is all like, oh shit, and then they're like, meow, and then they like keep going because they're fast. And everybody else is just like crazy driving, and I'm just sitting back there like, what the fuck? And so then I'm going, and like, I go to pull in to my parking spot, and I get in my parking spot, and then like, it wouldn't let me out, I kept trying to get it out of the key, out of the ignition, and it wouldn't come out, and I'm like, what the fuck, because every time I try to get the ignition out, the dome light would go on, and it's like, and it was just a mess. And so then I finally got out of my car, and then when I stepped out, I went to walk across, because like, it was like, storefront, storefront, lane parking spot, and I'm parked in here. Plaza's over here, there's a lane here, people going through. And so like I walk out of my car and I'm about to like, you know, cross the lane. I get out of my car and I'm about to cross the lane, and all these cars just out of nowhere, they're like meow, meow, meow. And I'm like, what the hell? I want to get across the street. It's like 2 feet. Just let me walk the 2 feet. It's not gonna fucking kill you if you just like go, like wait for me to go and then go about your business. And then the person who, the trailblazer in the first place, who like, you know, originally his, you know, nose is in the air like up here, was going to the Chinese place, just like me. And so I'm like, fuck you, buddy. And then so like I go in and like I get my order and whatever. And so then I come out, and that was no big deal. Like, the Chinese lady was nice and everything, and I got my food, and it was all good and everything, and I didn't get chopsticks, but that's whatever. And so, like, I come back out, and nobody's coming, so I just walk across, whatever. And then I get in my car, and I'm starting to backing out, and I'm being really cautious, and I'm watching behind me, because I'm like, I don't want to hit anybody, because everybody's trying to hit me, but I don't want to be a douchebag and hit everybody else. And then all of a sudden, this old lady starts backing out, and I'm like this, like my tail is right here, and then she's like this, and she comes closer and closer and closer, and I'm like trying to honk the horn to be like, hey, I'm here, but it's my dad's car, and so I didn't know where the horn was, and so I was like banging on the middle of the steering wheel, and because that's where horns are, right? I mean, that's where my horn is. Like, my horn is in the middle, so I'm like, ah! And then, but they're on the sides. And so I'm like, fuck! And so I was like, beep! And then the lady's like, oh my god! And I felt bad because I hate honking at people. I hate it. I only use it if I'm in danger or if somebody else is in danger. I don't use it for aggressive purposes. I hate using the horn, and I hate it when it's used against me. I'm just like, you know, that's not an effective method of communication. I think one day there's going to be little communicators in everybody's car that you can, like, hook up to the people around you. Be like, hey, I'm in this lane, and you're trying to cut me off, you douchebag. And I just think that would be wonderful technology, and I think somebody needs to invent it, because the horn is an ineffective communication device. Because I just felt so bad, because this lady was, like, older. And I'm like, I'm sorry, now I look like the douchebag, but you were about to hit me. And I just couldn't have my dad's car get hit. And then, because my dad caused an accident in Kirksville with my grandma's car, and it's like, this family can't deal with another accident or another car breaking down or, you know, general badness with vehicles. And so, and then, I get home alright, you know, the ride home was not that bad, like, it was like, whatever. But as soon as I got out of my car, I went onto the sidewalk, and I slipped. The first time I fell this year. Usually I fall about 1 or 3 times a year during winter, because, you know, Kirksville is all, like, icy, but the first time I do it this year is in St. Louis. I fell on my butt. And it hurts. I'm probably going to have a bruise. I don't remember what side it was on now. I almost died today. Like, 3 separate times. It's kind of ridiculous. And all for this little box and this little bag. If you're curious, I got chicken lo mein. My favorite. Look at the socks I'm wearing. They're toe socks.
And when it rains on the side of town, it touches everything. Just say it again and mean it. We don't miss.
Oh, this is my hair when it's not scooped out. I was lazy today.